everyone. This is Joe Riggio with Socially Joe. This is episode 20. I'm joined today by my guest, Bill Burke from MIRASOL. And he's going to go into little details about solar energy and why solar power is the best way to go at this point in time if we're looking for cleaner ways of energy. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Bill Burke right now. So hi, Bill. Thank you for joining me on Socially Joe. Tell us a little bit about yourself briefly, and then then we'll go right into the questions.
Yeah, basically, I've been in Florida for almost 20 years. About 5 years ago, I was in a business group, and I met Scott Eglefield, who's the owner of MIRASOL Solar. Very impressed with the guy. He's an environmentalist. He cares about people, and he cares about the environment. And I liked what they were doing. They've been around 44 years. It's one of the oldest solar companies in the United States. And there's been a succession. His son is now also working with us as chief engineer. But anyhow, I was very impressed. What I was most impressed with was every product that they sold was the top of the line product. They had opportunities to sell other products, and they chose not to. And there are huge differences between panels on the market, and that's what we focus on. So I've been there about 5 years, and I really like the company, and I really like the job.
Great. So you kind of give us a little bit more about MIRASOL, but you say they've been in business for 43 years, which that's awesome. And I even see the point where it says that the company has a 5-star rating on Angie's and Yelp. How long did that take them to get those ratings up there?
They've had the ratings for a while. I couldn't give you the exact date, but it boils down to company philosophy. We use the best products, we install it properly, and if there's a problem, we take care of it. And that's basically what got us the ratings. Product and follow-up and customer service. We've got we're approaching 15,000 customers now, primarily Manatee and Sarasota County. So that'll tell you something. Nobody's got that customer base. Nobody.
That's good. So I'm going to dive a little deeper, but what is a solar panel in a sense? Because we hear the terminology solar panel, but what is it really?
Okay, there are basically 4 types of panels on the market. The ones that he pools are called thermal panels. They are thermal. They strictly put heat into a swimming pool. And that's really where we got our start. FAFCO, which is the panel we sell, pioneered pool heating in the United States. The owner of the company, been going back almost 50 years, that pioneered pool heating. So those panels are called thermal panels. Any panel that heats a pool is called a thermal panel. The difference between the panels is how much heat do they put into the pool. And there's a huge difference between panels. And it's price related. The cheaper panels don't put a lot of heat in. The expensive panels put more heat in. Panel B are the solar PV, photovoltaic panels. They strictly produce electricity. So the goal on those is to reduce people's electric bill. In most cases, solar dealers can get that bill down to zero if there's enough space on the roof. Okay. The third type of panel is a solar hot water panel. And these all look different. They look very different from each other. The solar hot water panel is what it says. It's copper and glass, and it heats the water to very high temperatures up on the roof, gets up to about 180 degrees. And it goes down into your hot water tank and mixes with the cold water. And you're basically using the sun to heat your hot water. The fourth panel, which is another panel called a hybrid panel, which is fairly new, about 2 years old, that does both electricity and pool heating at the same time with one panel. Very unique panel. So it produces electricity and at the same time heats the pool. It's really unique, and the interesting part is the photovoltaic parts on the top. The pool panels are on the bottom, so they never see the sunlight, so they last a tremendously long time. 30 years is not uncommon for those, will not be uncommon for those panels. Because they never see the sun, they don't get the ultraviolet rays, They don't crack. There's a lot of benefits to having the panel shaded by a photovoltaic panel. So those are the 4 panels on the market. And when people say solar, we ask a lot of questions because we're not really sure what panels they're referring to.
Okay. So you did mention that, or 1 or 2 of the panels handle pools and heating. Is that what it means by pool automation? Like, elaborate more on what pool automation is. Just the heating element of it?
Now, pool automation is really anything you use to control the pool. For instance, if you want to heat the pool with solar, there's a solar thermostat that you put on that regulates when the solar goes off and on based upon the pool temperature. So that's a part of automation. Now, if you really want to get it, you can do it on Wi-Fi too. You can do it from a smartphone. There are controls that turn your spa off and on. That's called automation. So it's really a subset of controlling what's going on in the pool. And we do all of that. We do pool automation also as part of the solar package. The important part to remember is if you just have a regular pool in this part of Florida, your swim season is 107 days. That's from about May till September if you have a screen pool. That's the swim season. We consider 80 degrees comfortable. So you'll be at 80 degrees without anything during those months. If you have an unscreened pool, it's actually 144 days. The screen acts as a shadow, so it actually knocks down the temperature of the pool. If you have solar, you're up to 290 days. You're doubling the pool season. So with solar, you're going from February to December that you can use the pool at 80 degrees. If you want 12 months, you're going to need some auxiliary heating in the pool. We do that also, obviously. So we ask the customer, how do you use your pool? Because if they're not going to go in the pool if it's 60 degrees out, there's no sense doing a 12-month pool system. So it's very specific to the customer's habits. We ask them a silly question. Were you going to the pool if you were in a sweatshirt? And they usually say no. You don't need 12 months to. So that's how we ask a lot of questions in design systems based upon customer need, not based upon what we want to sell.
Gotcha.
So that's pool. Now here's the other deal. You've got people that just have a heat pump to heat the pool. Okay. In the winter time, the Gulf will get down to the high 50s. Okay, you want to heat that pool to 80 degrees, you're using a huge amount of energy to get the water up to 80 degrees. And that will be reflected in your heating bills in the wintertime. Average, we'll see $200, $300, $400 bills January, February, March. If you have solar, in the dead of winter, the solar will get the pool up to about 75 degrees. So you only need to bring it up 5 degrees. So you're using far less electric or gas heat to keep that pool hot. Again, if you're not going to get in the pool when it's cold out, don't worry about it.
Okay. So can you tell us a little bit more, because I saw in your notes and whatnot, what is a Tesla Powerwall battery backup?
Okay, it's very interesting. All solar systems in the United States, if the grid goes down, if the power company goes down, the solar goes down automatically. It automatically triggers and your solar will go down. That's to protect the guys working on the line. It's to protect your appliances, because without that buffer of the utility company, the solar would fry your appliances. So if you're running your business out of your home, or you have a lot of people in the house and you don't want to be inconvenienced, you put in a battery backup system. Simply, when the power kicks off, it switches in milliseconds to the battery backup, and it will power. You tell us what appliances you want to run, and we'll size the battery to power those appliances. On average, a small system, you're probably looking at 2 to 3 days worth of battery power. Now, if the sun is out, even though FPL isn't working, the battery will be charged by the solar panels. So if the sun comes out, even if the utility company is down, you have power. You have power going back to the battery. It will not run a whole house air conditioning system. There's just too much drain on the battery. So we tell people that you could turn it on maybe for an hour, but other than that, you're going to drain the battery off. It'll run everything: your kitchen, your appliances, your router, so if you need to work from your home, you should look into a battery backup system. You still have to be connected to the grid. That's state law. You have to be connected to the utility company. So, but you can avoid these long outages by having battery backup, especially in a hurricane. It's not noisy. It's noiseless, obviously. So there's a lot of advantages from battery over a whole house generator, which generally speaking, people go buy them. They're very noisy. You plug them in and you got to store the gasoline. There's all sorts of downsides. So we recommend battery backup if someone's very interested. All right. It's a backup to the solar.
Okay. And just asking one more question about the battery backup. What is usual length of time if, let's just say, the power goes out? Like, how long will that battery kind of last you?
Well, I'll give you an example. We did one for a gentleman in Bradenton about a year ago, actually. He wanted to run the refrigerator, his coffee machine, his router, his internet, his TV, a couple of fans. His battery will go about 104 hours without being recharged. So that's 3 days plus.
Wow.
We could have made it longer than that, but we're normally not out of power here for more than a day or two. So it was sized appropriately. We try and size everything appropriately, not to what we want to sell to people. And it's based upon what you tell us. All right. So anyhow, his power went out last week for about an hour. He called me up. I said, how you doing? Fine. Everything's on. The battery kicked in and we're fine. He's got solar panels on the house. So, he's in good shape, the guy.
All right.
Okay.
So for MIRASOL, that truly means, from what I'm hearing from you, you are a full service solar company in a sense, from what you're telling me, with everything you do, correct?
That's correct. We can do pool heating, we can do hot water, we can do photovoltaic, and we will repair other people's systems if there's a problem. We have a fully maintenance crew. They all work for us. We do not use subcontractors, and all of our employees are drug tested. So that's probably part of the reason we're on Angie's list. We have a solar contractor license. Unfortunately, in Florida, you do not need a solar contractor license to install solar. So you will see electric companies advertising solar installations. They just do not have the experience to do that in most cases.
And that's probably a good reason for concern, that you probably even suggest that people interview who they're doing business with solar, correct?
That's correct. And unfortunately, if you look at all the ads on Facebook, 95% of them are from marketing companies, not from solar companies. And what they will do is, if you respond, they take your information and sell it as a lead to a solar company. And then you get those annoying sales calls. So they're marketing companies. We're not. We're strictly a solar company. We get leads occasionally, obviously, from referrals, but those ads are just designed to capture your information.
Okay.
They all say free. There's a lot of misleading information on those ads. They all say free, or no money out of pocket. Well, yeah, eventually you got to pay for something, which is pretty silly. So, the problem with the industry now is a lot of people jumped into it. If I were to give people advice, I would say check the longevity of the company, see if they're using subcontractors.